Well, there's no question, is there, that by choosing Nijjar to be the occasion of this squabble between the two countries, it's turned out to be very unfortunate for the Liberal government and for the Prime Minister that Nijjar's own supporters, yes, have been hailing him in death as a member and as a leader of the Khalistan Tiger Force, which was exactly what the Indians alleged in the first place, and that's what they complain about, that they make these allegations. Canada doesn't believe them. They won't extradite people who are regarded as terrorists in India, and that this is the continuation of what has been 40 years of indifference on the Canadian side to Indian complaints of this type. Having said all of that, it's certainly embarrassing. I agree with you that Mr. Nijjar should happen to be the poster boy for this squabble. It's very unfortunate. Having said all of that, though, Mr. Trudeau's troubles, remember that it may look good on Indian TV to have Vladimir Putin trashing Trudeau as an idiot. Well, that doesn't, I mean, to have Mr. Putin trashing your prime minister is not necessarily bad for the prime minister. Many Canadians will look at that and say, well, he must be doing something right. It remains true that Trudeau is in big trouble in the polls. If there were an election held tomorrow, there's no way he would win it. The Conservatives would take over probably, although there isn't an election tomorrow. He's got another year to go anyway, and longer if he really pushes it. But the point is that none of this, it's all an interesting distraction, this row and the details of it. But it does not address the core allegation that Canada has made. And earlier, I think somebody said that India has debunked these allegations. Oh, really? I haven't heard that. I have not heard any detailed effort by the Indian government to say, okay, here is what Canada is alleging, and here's why it's bunk. Here's why it's nonsense. They're not doing that. I have not heard Prime Minister Modi directly address the allegations and say why it's bunk. On the other hand, you talk about a climb down by Trudeau. I have heard the Indian Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, who is an experienced man, very capable man who picks his words with care, saying on a couple of occasions now that, well, such an assassination would be inconsistent with Indian policy.
Exactly.
To me, it sounds like things happen in Canada, believe it or not, that are not government policy, and I think it happens in India too. So there's a window there, is there not, for India to say, to start saying quietly in private, okay, look, this was an unofficial operation. This guy didn't have any sanction. We know what your evidence is, but this guy had nothing to do with the Indian government. Let's work this out. There is a window to do that. I'm not predicting that it will happen, but it's possible. And I think we should all remember that, no, the allegations have not been debunked. We don't know that because we